guys, so this is my first like sit down, not vloggy type video, and I'm going to be talking about The Good Witch by Maisie Peters. This is probably one of my favorite, if not my favorite album of all time, and I have seen it live, or most of it, because I went to the Good Witch tour. I went twice, and Grace Enger, my favorite girl, my best girl of all time, was the opener, and it was great. It was lovely. And I have a lot to say about this album, so we're gonna get right into it.
Still a good witch with her tease.
Okay, so I have my vinyl here to help me out, and the first track is The Good Witch, which is the title track. And this title track has a lot of callbacks to the title track of her freshman album, You Signed Up For This. For example, I'm Still Upset, but Now I'm 22 is the lyric off The Good Witch, and I'm 20 and probably upset right now is off You Signed Up For This. And then there's also callbacks to I'm Trying To, because it says still better in the first verse, and she says I might be bitter in the other song from You Signed Up For This. And it also says again, like later in the song, like I know I'll get better, I'm just not better yet, which is also a really good lyric to show about like growth and that to like hold on until the end, because you know you can't get better, like it's possible. And then the outro I think is so sweet because it's a bunch of like voicemails, and a lot of them are from her band, and there's a whole song that's like a thank you to her band pretty much on the album later, and I think it's a really sweet like going forward point for the rest of the album. So I love that song, and I think it sets up the album really well. The next song is called Coming of Age. And Coming of Age is like pop perfection. Like the beat is there, like the lyrics are there, like it's actually like, it's so good. Like it makes my brain go brrr, like it's so good. And I think one really powerful line is, you had the speaking parts, but I guess I was the playwright, because I am literally a theater kid. So it's like very special to me that I like can connect with this in like this way. And I also like, I'm the Iliad, of course you couldn't read me, like that's so iconic. And like I love Maisie, like she's so iconic, and like this album, like a big theme of it is like taking back like what's yours, and like not kind of changing yourself for others, especially for guys, for men, because that's bad. And then also the bridge of this song like takes my breath away every time. It is the first but not the last like phenomenal bridge of this album. Like the Tay daughter like legacy is real, like you see her impact. So that's like a really good song. That's like the first like official track, because like Coming of Age, The Good Witch is kind of like an intro, but then Coming of Age comes in and it's like this is my coming of age. The next song on the album is called Watch, which is basically, the whole song is another Tay daughter callback, because the whole reason that it was inspired is because the first lines are telling the white web that this is my era, then writing a lot of heartbroken music. Nobody actually happy and healthy has ever felt so desperate to prove it. And this is basically a reference to how she tweeted how she was in a Reputation era, then went and wrote a bunch of sad songs. And I think that is just, she's just too real for that. And I think telling nobody actually happy and healthy has ever felt so desperate to prove it is kind of like an opposite to the desire to be sicker is a sign of being sick, because it's kind of like trying to prove to everyone else that you're okay so that you can believe it. And I think that's just a pretty powerful message. And then later in the verse, there is a Michael Cera mention. I love him. It's basically saying like, you look like you would be in a Michael Cera film, which is basically like you're so indie and you're cool and like you're like different, which is obviously never ends well, because then you get someone who listens to TV Girl. And we also get the first F-bomb of the album, which I think is quite powerful. And this song is just so female rage. Like it really, the whole album is like pretty man-hater, and like I'm here for that. And just another great bridge, and like one thing that will come back later is "You broke my heart and my self-esteem for a girl who's a remix of me," which I think is crazy and like a phenomenal line because hello, that's crazy. But yeah, so basically this song, another like pop perfection banger, like so good. Okay, the next song off the album is called Body Better, and this was the first single off the album, and I'm just gonna put a little trigger warning here that this section will talk about like body image and like stuff like that. So basically, based off the name, you can tell the song is basically about how someone left her, but like she didn't do anything wrong, so like the only plausible reason is that like their body is better, because the song also references or implies like to cheating and like kind of dropping one relationship for another for no actual reason, like you weren't given a reason that the relationship ended. And one like line that just gets me is, "Did I just not do it for you superficially?" Because she provided for all the emotional needs, she was there for whatever, but maybe the superficial aspect of the relationship didn't do it for him, which caused him to cheat and go leave to another girl. And like you're, as a girl, like body image is so hard, is a really hard thing to struggle with, and the thought of a man leaving you because of your body can like crush someone. Like that would like kind of touch you in the last song, like that would break your heart and your self-esteem. Like that's a really hard thing to pick yourself back up from. And another, loving you was easy, that's why it hurts now. It's just really saying that like the relationship felt so easy, and like you didn't really think anything like that, like the cheating was gonna happen, and then it happens anyway, and that's why it hurts so bad. It's because you really trusted that person. And another banger bridge on the way, you know? And one thing that's so personal to me is, "Could you tell me just one more lie? Is her body better than mine?" Because I am a big honesty person. If you lie to me, the vocals in the bridge are just like life-altering, life-changing. Like this song, and there's an acoustic version of this song that actually like broke my heart the first time I heard it. It is actually devastating, and I completely recommend that version and the original. The original is awesome, but the acoustic version is actually just like the vocals in it and like the emotion you can feel in Maisie's voice is crazy, and it's so good. And this album is literally life-changing.
I still want you back.
We're back with another sad banger for Want You Back, because this song makes me want to die. And one of the first lines is about Maisie being a teacher's daughter, and I'm a teacher's daughter, so it's just like, oh, it's very personal. It's very personal. And the first verse kind of talks about how, like, you met this person and they really helped you and they changed your life for the better, and then they go back and mess it up again. And it really reminds me of the song Break It Back by Megan Maroney, which is basically about how the same thing, like this guy came into her life, made it better, and then broke her heart again, like he said he wouldn't. And one lyric is, "What was cheap to you, to me, was all I had." Because once again, she was in this rock bottom position before she met this guy, and it was all she had. It was really all she had, because she felt like she was in such this low point. And now it was just a throwaway to him. Like, it was just fun. The bridge, once again, so good. And then kind of a going back to what I was saying about Megan Maroney is, it wasn't real, it was for me, but you know that. Because it was so special to her, because she was in this place, and it was just cheap to him. And also, a little tidbit of information, I'm a huge Ed Sheeran fan. Like, I loved him. Like, I've loved him since I was like a teeny tiny child. And Maisie opened for Ed a bunch of times, and they wanted to write together on this album, but they just didn't get the chance to. So Ed plays all the backing guitar on this song, which I think is just really special, because I love them both so much.
It was the band and I.
The next song is called The Band and I. And this is the song I was talking about earlier that's like an homage to her band. And it's basically the story of their North American tour in 2022 for you signed up for this. This song has a lot of mentions to like different cities, and it has a Texas mention, and I'm a Texas girl, so that's really special to me, along with a Seattle mention where my best friend is from, who I met through music. And like touring is like one of our dreams together, so I think it's pretty personal to us. And also there's a Little Rock mention, which is where I'm from, so it's like it's not really small, like I guess it's just smaller in comparison to what I think it is because I just know everyone there. And also this has a pretty big mention to Heads Up, and I suck so bad at Heads Up. And basically when this album came out, I was on a school trip in New York, and when we rode the bus, like we had nothing to do, so we played Heads Up, and I actually sucked at it so bad. So whenever I was listening to this album for the first time on the bus, while everyone else was playing Heads Up, like it was a jump scare, like so this song is just very personal to me in that way also. And I love her band because, again, I've seen her on tour a couple times, and they're great people. I also love that she talks about her same old boots that she had on multiple tours, because it's just her little dogs, because she's so me. And yeah, her calling it the American Dream is so funny, because she's British, if you didn't know that. Her whole band is, and they kind of talk about how, like, guys, we're on the American Dream right now. Like, I love it. And I also love this song because that is my dream. Like, my dream is to go on tour and tour the world. And so I just love this song very much.
You're just a boy and I'm kind of the man.
The next song is another feminist album. I hate men. We have You're Just a Boy and I'm Kind of the Man. And it's just like, boys are dumb, and like you kind of have to be the man. Like men are just stupid. And that's all I gotta say. Editing note, what I was trying to say here is that it's just like your feminist anthem, like taking back the confidence and not letting anything else define you, and kind of standing up for yourself when it's needed. And it's just about girls with big plans, you know? That's what I meant to say here.
Oh shit, you lost the breakup.
This song is so fun live. Like, it's so fun live.
The best thing that ever happened to you. I know I'm obsessed. Right now I'm not feeling less, but one day you're gonna wake up. Oh shit, you lost the breakup.
Another thing, I said I was from Texas. The one line, you got two types, country and western. Yeehaw, for real, like, it's so me. And it's also kind of a tease to You Broke My Heart and My Self-Esteem for a girl who's a remix of me. He has a type, like, this girl is country and western like she is. I really think if Maisie was American, she'd be from Texas. Like, she'd be in my, like, science class or something, like. The bridge is, once again, so good. And maybe I'm delusional, but I'm a Girls' House truther. Once again, big Ed Sheeran stan. So we're gonna walk into some underground bar. Tease the underground bar in Girls' House. Just saying. And then also the bridge, like, little bit, it's like, I'm kind of busy, like, I'm on Jimmy Fallon tonight. Like, that's such an iconic bit, and it gave her, like, a good 15 seconds of fame on TikTok. And I love that for her. Like, yes, Maisie.
There's always a Wendy.
The next track on the album is Wendy, which is a very personal track to me, and it is my all-time favorite song of all time. Ever since I was a little kid, Peter Pan and, like, the universe and the story has been very special to me. And Wendy has always been my favorite character because she starts off as this very individualistic character who is unique, who is herself. And then she gets put into this box that she is the mother of the Lost Boys, and she can't do anything about that. But then she overcomes this, and she goes back home, and she starts a life, and she marries her husband, and she has a kid. Like, she leaves this box that she was thrown in. And so when I saw Maisie in Austin, I went to her album signing, and I dressed up as Wendy because, once again, very, very special character to me. And Wendy, or Maisie, called me her Wendy. And so, especially even since then, it's just been a very special story to me, and it's a very special song. And it's kind of about how all this, yes, and how when a girl gets with the wrong guy, if you're with the right guy, this will not happen, but the wrong guy, you kind of lose all your sense of self when you're with him, because, like, feeling a boyfriend feels nice. Like having a boyfriend, like, that's so cool. Like, everyone desires a relationship or a partner in some way, I fear. And you just kind of get wrapped up in it, and you lose your sense of self. Like, you don't know who you are without this partner, this person. And it kind of reminds me of, like, the Good Luck Babe bridge, like how this girl was very unique and special, and then she gets with this guy, and you wake up next to him in the middle of the night with your head in your hands. You're nothing more than his wife, because that's just what you're known for, is being his wife. You have lost your individuality, your sense of self. And you're pretty like a girl till you're vicious like a man. You're kind of just this, like, thing that a guy thinks isn't gonna fight back, is, like, reserved and, like, a thing for him to manipulate. But when you fight back, you're seen as vicious, you're seen as, like, crazy, psychotic, like, and this also goes with, you're evasive on the phone, so you're sorry on the floor. Again, he thinks he can do whatever he wants, then you fight back, and he's like, oh, I'm sorry, like, don't leave me. Leave him. And another thing, Wendy, and then Peter is the lost boy. Behind every lost boy, there's always a Wendy. And this, I kind of just relate, like, Peter by Taylor Swift, Lost Boy by Troye Sivan. I kind of relate them all together to make this one big story for me. And in Lost Boy by Troye Sivan, it's kind of more from the perspective of Peter, who he says, like, I build your hopes up like a tower, and, like, at the end of the day, he is just a lost boy. And that's the thing, though, is Peter will always be a lost boy, and Wendy cannot wait forever for him, because he's always going to be trying to do this growing or get better. But using the symbol of Peter, you never truly grow up. A man never truly grows up. And she cannot wait for him forever. She has to move on. She has to go back. She can't be the lost boy's mother anymore. She has to go back to normal life out of Neverland and do her own thing. Because what about Wendy? What about Wendy? She needs her own individuality away from Peter. The bridge. Oh, so good once again. And then, like, she pretends that it's what she wanted. It's a life I could have, but it's not the life she wanted. Because what about Wendy? She has her own individuality. And the song as a whole is kind of about picking your battles, like choosing what is worth the sacrifice. And a man who is never going to grow up is not worth your sacrifice. So always stand up and choose your own path. The next song on the album is Run, another man-hating anthem. Girl power. Basically, if a man says that he wants you in his life forever, run. Because he's just trying to get in your head. Run. Run. I think this is very good advice that everyone should take very, very seriously. But at the end of the day, it is a very good song. It's a very poppy album. It's really fun live. And I think the song is really fun.
It was 2 weeks ago.
The next song is literally Whiplash, because Run is so upbeat and fun. And then we have 2 weeks ago, which is sad and really sad. And when I first heard the album, I didn't really like this song or, like, understand it. But then I went through a really hard friend breakup, and I just had to do a lot of lying and deceiving, and I kind of understood, and it made me like the song a lot more, because when you're being lied to over this time, you're kind of just in oblivion. Like, you don't know that all this is happening behind your back, but inevitably it comes out, and usually it was 2 weeks ago. I loved you, babe, but I bet you knew that. Why would she write that? Why would she write that? That's actually so heartbreaking. And then, You Were Driving Too Fast is a lyric, and then in the deluxe version of the album, which I unfortunately am not talking about today, but in the deluxe version of the album, it says, in Yoko, it says, you knew I was scared when you were driving too fast. Can you please just listen? And those two kind of tie in together.
Motherfucking batshit crazy.
The next song on the album is called BSC, and my grandma watches these, so I cannot say what that means, but Google it or listen to the song. But I think one really cool and creative thing about this song was that when the track list came out, I was like, what does BSC mean? Like, I didn't know. And then when I heard it in the song, I was like, oh, that's pretty great. And it's a very good song. And it's definitely for the girlies who have been called obsessive, been called crazy, and just simply would not take that. One or two super iconic lines are, you made me Little Miss Unstable. Love that line because it's real. And then, I am unhinged. Maisie just gets me. She just gets me.
That's a therapy.
The next song is called Therapy. Shout out to my therapist. I love you. It also, once again, kind of reminds me of Break It Right Back by Megan Maroney, because it's like, this guy came into her life, fixed her up. You'll never need to go to therapy because you have me. Heart broken. I fear. You touched me, now your touch will last for centuries is a crazy line in this song. Maisie girl, can we talk? For real. Bridge, the vocals, loving you was letting you leave. Vocals on that line specifically. Too good. Too good. And then also, this song has a callback to another song called Good Enough by Maisie, which I could make a whole video on in itself. I love that song so much. They don't tell you what to do when the good guys change their minds, because it's, once again, kind of about this guy, and he fixed her, and then he just left. So I think it's a big callback to that song. So that is Therapy.
There it goes.
The next song, There It Goes, you've definitely heard whether or not you're a Maisie fan. It was trending on TikTok for a bit because of the line, I'm doing better, I made it to September, which again is another callback to the Good Witch title track, and you signed up for this because am I better yet, etc. I'm also a big flower girl, and there's a lot of flower references in this song because it's kind of about healing and flowers and friends and coffee and all the little things that just kind of lead up to just simply feeling better after you just let things go. Because I know it's scary, but sometimes you just have to let things go to heal, and that's simply the best way to do it, and it's kind of what this song is saying. Surprise, surprise, the bridge is banger, and the universe is just shifting for me, and that's one of the lines in the songs, and I think that's really special because the world can definitely feel like it's against you sometimes, but when you look at it in the positive way and begin to heal, the universe is just for you, and it's what you make of it. So I think that's beautiful.
The history of man.
The final track on The Good Witch is called History of Man, and down to its core, it's a song about misogyny told through Bible stories and Greek mythology. I'm a huge Greek mythology nerd, so I am definitely about to nerd out in this section of the video. So in the beginning of the second verse, it says, you didn't even falter, you didn't even look back once, did you? This is kind of a reference to the story of Orpheus and Eurydice, which is an old Greek tale, where basically Eurydice gets taken down to the underworld by Hades, and she can't leave. Eurydice comes to save her, and only on the terms that Eurydice walks with Orpheus in front, and Orpheus can't look back. He just has to trust that she's there, because he can't leave, or he can't come back once he leaves. But basically, he does turn around, but she is there. So they're both stuck in the underworld forever. Because it just shows that he kind of cared more about her being there than, you know, getting to live. Kind of saying he didn't look back. Then they talk about Samson and Delilah, which is a biblical tale that basically Samson is this guy. He's super strong. He's really important, but he has some rules that he can't follow, or he will like lose his power and everything. Basically, it's like he can't eat grapes, I'm pretty sure, and then he can't cut his hair. And he falls in love with this girl, Delilah, but she cuts his hair off and takes all his power. And it's basically saying, like, Maisie says, given if she was in her position, then she would have made Samson weaker as well. And it's kind of just all going back to blaming the woman, like it's all the woman's fault. Then in the bridge, it references Troy and Helen, which basically, Helen is the wife of the king of Sparta, and then this guy named Paris, who is from Troy, another city in ancient Greece, he has to choose between 3 gods, and he chooses Aphrodite, and Aphrodite grants him the love of Helen. And so then Paris basically goes on to kidnap her, and this causes a war between Troy and Sparta, and it's all kind of blamed on Helen. Troy, all of it as a whole, hates Helen, hates the woman, and once again, it all just kind of boils down to her story. But to this bridge, that's what it actually means. But to me, it's more about the story of Medusa, Poseidon, and Athena. Basically, Medusa, she worships Athena. She loves Athena. She does rituals. She would basically do anything for Athena. And then Poseidon comes and falls in love with Athena. With Medusa. And Athena does not like that. So she curses Medusa with the snakes, and if she looks anyone in the eye, they turn to stone. So no one will ever fall in love with her. And I think Medusa's so misunderstood, and I just have a really big soft spot for her. And it basically says how men start wars, but Troy hates Helen's. Women's hearts are lethal weapons. Did you hold mine and feel threatened? Here are my lyrics, taste my venom. You are still my great obsession. Kind of, to me, it means Medusa just loved too hard and got herself in trouble, but at the end of the day, Athena, she still looked up to for most of her life, still her great obsession. So as you can see, that song has a lot of meaning to me and in general, and I think it's a very special song and a great way to close the album. So that's the end of my Goodrich review, in-depth analysis for you. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for listening to me yap. Go stream this album, link in description. Maisie Peters is so awesome. So once again, thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and goodbye.